Wow, you're like the next Bill Gates.
Did you know he came to campus the other day?
Bill Gates came to campus and I missed it?
Oh, don't worry, we have the whole talk on video.
We're going to watch the whole thing?
No, this segment just covers the highlights. Let's check it out.
As part of its Distinguished Lecturer series, the University of Washington Computer Science Department hosted a lecture given by distinguished businessman and philanthropist Bill Gates. President Michael Young introduced him to the stage.
There are very few people in the world who change the world once, and Bill Gates has changed it twice. So with that, let me welcome to the stage Bill Gates.
Students crammed anywhere and everywhere they could get a view of the stage to hear Gates talk about technology and its potential to improve education as well as create disease models to improve global health.
Couldn't we model all the different objects, the mosquitoes, the people, the weather, and sort of look at not only what is going on with that disease, but what interventions would make what kind of difference? In particular, what type of interventions would cause a disease eradication.
Though Gates' talk was not focused much on Microsoft, he did a demo that involved Kinect, a peripheral for Microsoft's game console, the Xbox.
And we just move around, and you can see it's building a 3D model of what these objects are.
Gates' demonstration showed how Kinect can be used to quickly and cheaply make accurate digital 3D models of real-world objects. Gates kept the lecture to 20 minutes, allowing for an in-depth question and answer session. Freshman Jasmine Jing asks a question that gets some laughs.
Oh, I asked him that, when I was young, when people asked me what I would want to be, I was always like, I want to be the richest man. And I asked him, if I want to be you, how could I be you?
Also part of the Q&A session was Ed Lazowska, Bill and Melinda Gates Chair of Computer Science and Engineering.
That question about being wealthy got a lot of attention in the press, and what he said was that he can understand wanting to have a few $1 million, but once you get to sort of the billion level, it's a real responsibility. There are ways in which it doesn't change your life. He said, Dick's hasn't raised its prices that much. It's kind of the same hamburger, and I thought it was a sort of charming way to deal with this.
Though Gates is notable all over the world for his work in technology and philanthropy, he and his family have a special significance to our region and university. From his father's role on the board of Regents at UW, to the building named for his mother, to the numerous companies and projects that would never have existed without Gates or Microsoft, he is forever part of Seattle culture.
So this is a person and a company that has changed the world, but it's also changed Seattle really for the better, unbelievably.
Gates ends saying that with the help he knows will give him, there is a bright future ahead.
My full-time work is now this foundation work. I find myself coming back to people like you saying, help me, give me some good computer science to solve all of these problems. And I'm optimistic that you'll deliver. Thank you.
Keep your eyes open for Gates and his continued effect on the world.
Natalie!
Oh, sorry. Up next, martial arts.
If you feel scared walking down the streets at night, or you're looking for a great community to work out with, or you're possessed by the overwhelming urge to wield a katana like a boss, then you need look no further than the IMA, where a variety of martial arts clubs and classes are available to students. In this segment, we hope to provide you with a small glimpse into the various martial arts of Eastern influence you can practice. All of the clubs have room for both beginners and experts and everything in between. Let's start with the Japanese martial arts first. First up, Judo. Judo is a martial art and sport that focuses heavily on throwing and grappling your opponent into submission.
It's martial art, it's a sport. If people don't know Judo, it's basically meant to be martial arts techniques that can be applied without injury to the other person. So it's techniques to subdue an opponent that can be practiced at full speed with the idea that you get better at the techniques because you can do them at full speed without any fear of someone else getting injured. I just really enjoy the sport, and I enjoy the martial art aspect too.
You'll notice that there's a lot of slapping going on in the background. Instructor Christensen told us a little bit more about it.
That's basically to take up as much of the impact as possible. So we focus mostly on not hitting the important parts like your head, and you sacrifice your arm for that purpose.
A similar kind of Japanese martial art that involves similar kinds of slapping and throwing is called Aikido. Aikido is a defensive, soft form martial art all about controlling your opponent's movement.
In class, because we have a lot of new students in a new class every quarter, and because people come and go, we just do a lot of beginning kind of techniques. So we have two levels of training. We have the beginner and intermediate, then we have the advanced teaching. Aikido has been defined as a defensive art, and we certainly train that way for the most part. But Aikido has an opportunity to be very offensive. It's not good for me just to wait until an opponent starts to attack and then make my movement a counterattack. So if I know that there's about to be a confrontation, I can start that initial movement.
If you're interested in a martial art with more striking, you don't have to look any further than perhaps the most famous martial art, karate.
We have a University Karate Club. It's a non-profit organization called Shotokan Karate of America, and there's two components that we have here. We have a sports and fitness class, and we have the club. And if anybody's interested in practicing with us, they would join through the IMA in the sports and fitness class, and after they've been practicing for that for a while, then they would be asked to, encouraged to come practice with the club. And so the club is composed of mostly students who are already in the sports and fitness class, or people who've had a lot of previous experience. In the University of Washington Shotokan Karate Dojo, we emphasize traditional martial art, so basic techniques, basic sparring techniques, and basic kata. And we do lots and lots of repetitions of those so people get those qualities figured out. On top of that, I like to emphasize when we do sparring drills to go for more realism. Particularly, for example, during the summer or in the senior practice, we'll do a lot of stuff like ground fighting, hitting what would be considered illegal targets, going for realism in combat. But that's a part of it. The major majority is doing basic techniques and doing them very well.
The last Japanese martial art that we cover is Kendo, the only martial art in this segment based around a weapon, the katana.
Kendo is the art of fencing in the Japanese style. Its origins are actually pretty old. It's from about the 17th century, when dueling as a sort of formal practice became prohibited under the samurai government. So instead, people started using bamboo swords like this and armor that's called bogu, and doing what amounted to fake duels. And then once Japan started to modernize as a country, it started to become a bit more sportified, and that's where we're at today, modern Kendo. We do katas, you see that's what we're doing. There are 10 katas in the Kendo set, and you have to know them all by the time you become an instructor. In addition, we do sparring, which is full contact. The armor, though, which is usually the biggest expense, we actually rent out to students. We have a collection that's funded by the University of Washington. So if you want to try Kendo, this is the club to try it at.
We switch now to a popular Korean martial art, Taekwondo. Like the Karate Club, it too has an IMA-sponsored class that beginners should take before joining the club.
There's an introductory class that the IMA puts on for students or faculty who have never had any Taekwondo experience before, so that just gives them an intro to what Taekwondo is about, so basic kicks, stances, blocks, and the routines of what the club eventually does. So then if they want to, they can move into the club after the instructional class. From the way we work on it, it's a lot more kicking based at least, but with the recent years, as we've had like different levels of people coming in, or the numbers change, like this year we've had a lot more students and faculty and grad students coming in, so we've incorporated more pumse, so that's like the prearranged forms that they do, versus the past years it was more sparring based. This club is a relaxed club. For me, it's become more of a hobby and a sport that I just come here and enjoy and work with everybody else with it.
We'll finish up with two Chinese martial arts mixed into one club, the first of which is Tai Chi, specifically the Yang style.
We're part with the Hung Gar Kung Fu Club. We started teaching Yang style, and that's the most common form of Tai Chi. There's two main sets. There's the 24 form, which was put together in 1956. The original form was 108 forms. The Chinese government thought that was too long. It took about half an hour to practice each day. So the 24 form is a shorter 8 minutes roughly, 8 to 12. This is the beginning of the 8th step, which is just a short introduction for the skills course. So a lot of the basic movements are taught, and they then get echoed on later on. Tai Chi's fun. It's not just meditation in motion as it's a lot of times described as. It is a martial art. So a lot of the basic hand waving you see is actually kind of mean. It could be a chest shot, a chin shot, there's some groin shots. When you start learning it, you realize it's not this frou-frou, easygoing movement. It's actual martial art.
The last martial art we cover is the Hung Gar style of Kung Fu.
Technically, our title is the Kung Fu Tai Chi Club at the University of Washington. We are actually a branch of the Seattle Kung Fu Club. So they always send usually an instructor from the actual school, Chinatown School, who's trained there for a while, and then they come and teach us. So practicing here has one benefit to practicing in any other branch, that it's much cheaper to practice here than if you want to practice at the Chinatown or Aurora School, for example. So Hung Gar, it comes from southern China, and it puts a lot of emphasis on a lot of hard blocks and punches and low kicks actually. But later on, you actually do learn the softer techniques, which you focus on more actually directing your opponent's energy away from you and then using that.
Unfortunately, we were unable to cover all of the martial arts available to students. There are other martial arts such as a wushu club, a western boxing club, and others. So, if you've been wanting to get involved in martial arts for a while, you should run on down to the IMA and sign up.
Well, that's all we have today.
Thanks for watching this week's episode.
Don't forget to watch us every Saturday night at 7.
Or check us out online at youtube.com/thedaily.
I'm Stuart Merlantis.
And I'm Natalie Huynh.
See you next time
on The Daily's Double Shot.